All good? Everyone happy? Got the...
Do you want me to move around that side?
All right. Well, look, good morning, everyone. As we have indicated, today presents the biggest bushfire risk that Canberra's faced since 2003. It is very hot outside, already in the high 30s, and the temperature will go over 40 degrees today. This combination of extreme temperature, high winds, and the incredibly dry landscape will see the Aurora Valley fire expand in size. Overnight, and this morning, it's increased to 33,500 hectares, or 335 square kilometres, or now approaching 15% of the total landmass of the Australian Capital Territory. The northwesterly winds are pushing the fire southeast across the New South Wales border. However, it will also continue to burn slowly towards the Tharwa village and southern Tuggeranong. Now, we've been aware of this risk for some time, and a huge amount of work has gone into protecting lives and property. And this includes the tremendous assistance of the Australian Defence Force in supporting our efforts to build containment lines to protect key infrastructure and personal property. The Commissioner, as Emergency Controller, has also been coordinating resources in the south of Canberra to be prepared for whatever situation we may face in the coming hours. And at this point, I'd particularly again like to acknowledge the work of the Australian Defence Force and thank ACT Policing, and also all of the interstate and international firefighters who've come to our aid today. However, we still need Canberrans to support all of this work. Please be prepared. Be aware of the status of the fire and any warnings that are issued by the Emergency Services Agency. We acknowledge this is going to be a stressful day for residents, particularly in southern Tuggeranong, and we really appreciate the support of residents who have responded positively to all of our door-knocking activity and information sharing. Hundreds of residents attended the community information meeting last night in the Lanyon Valley. What we don't need, though, is people travelling south towards the fire. And I can't stress this enough. You are not needed, you are getting in the way. Stay out of the area. It is incredibly disappointing that a number of people had to be told to leave the area last night by ACT Police. And this includes people trying to head to the reserves and the remote swimming locations like the Stromlo walking trails, Canberra Pool and the Murrumbidgee River. Please stay out of these areas today. If you need to swim, there are plenty of pools in metropolitan Canberra. What I'd like Canberrans to focus on today to assist is to think about your energy consumption, particularly later this afternoon. It is incredibly hot out there. People need power for air conditioning and fans. So we're asking Canberrans to avoid non-essential power use. Turn your pool pump off. If you don't need to do the washing, put the dishwasher on today, don't do it. They're really good practical examples of how Canberrans can help, because particularly this afternoon, the pressure on the national energy grid will build. It's not just hot here in Canberra, it's hot across New South Wales and Victoria. We are going to make sure that we prioritise power for Canberra's southern suburbs throughout this situation. It's going to be incredibly important in case of an emergency later this afternoon. Thank you. Please stay safe. Continue to follow local media, the ESA website and ESA social media channels to keep informed on everything that is happening today. And I'll now ask the Commissioner to provide an update on the fire situation.
Thank you, Chief Minister. Good morning. Last night we saw fire conditions in the Aurora Valley fire calm around most of the perimeter, and that allowed us to downgrade the fire to watch and act at around 11 p.m. However, this morning, as the temperature increases, the fire is rapidly escalating, predominantly to the southeast. We can expect weather conditions today to generate pyrocumulus events. To that end, we have warned our crews located in the southeast to move to an area of safety. The fire is around 33,000 hectares and the south edge really is active. Spot fires continue to burn on the south and southeast edges and are expected to join up with the main fire today. These are the areas closest to New South Wales. Backburning is being undertaken on the western edge to allow us to strengthen containment lines. Urban strike teams will remain in place at the South Tuggeranong station for rapid response as the need arises. The fire is expected to progress 1.5 to 2 kilometres per hour to the southeast, with spotting up to 10 kilometres. This will likely move the perimeter well into the New South Wales jurisdiction. There is potential there for the fire to reach the Good Fire to the east. Today's extreme heat, with temperatures of up to 41 degrees and potentially exceeding 41 degrees, dry conditions and a severe fire danger rating means we can expect another very challenging firefighting day. Our western control line around Lick Hole will come under pressure, and tactical burning has been what is needed in the early hours of the morning to help us contain that fire to limit the likelihood of a breach. The north-northeast will continue to back into the wind, but it is unlikely to reach Corrin Road or the Boorbara Rocks. Having said that, the fire around Mount Tennant is backing down through the terrain. However, this is progressing slowly. Properties, those southern Tuggeranong suburbs members who intend to stay and defend their properties, should they choose to do so, must have a bushfire survival plan. It is an imperative. We have developed several containment options between Mount Tennant and the Tharwa Village and the southern suburbs. We have amassed considerable firefighting assets to those suburbs to defend the northeast sector. Again, I must reiterate, our rural property holders, our residents in the rural areas should have a bushfire survival plan in place and know where to shelter should an emergency warning be issued. People in the Tharwa and southern suburbs of Banks, Gordon and Condor and surrounding areas, you need to monitor conditions closely today and be ready to act should we issue a warning. However, no properties are under immediate threat in our southern suburbs at this time. The conditions will potentially become more dangerous and the fire may pose a threat to lives directly in its path. My fire crews may not be able to protect you and your property. You should not expect a firefighter on every door. Now is the time to remain vigilant and listen to the advice of emergency services personnel. People in the Tharwa, Banks, Conda and Gordon suburbs are advised to leave the area this morning if you feel unsafe. An evacuation centre is opened in the Erindale College and our personnel are ready to support you in location. Please monitor the ESA website, social media and tune into our local media partners, the ABC. We will continue to provide you updates as the situation unfolds today. Thank you.
Happy to take any questions.
Commissioner, can I ask, is there a particular time today when it's going to be the southern suburbs of Canberra might be most at risk of ember attacks potentially?
There's no one particular time, which is why monitoring the progress of the fire. Our residents can expect to see spot fires in the coming hours. And of course, we will provide those alerts and updates and calls to action as required. However, I would suggest that from now throughout this day, while we're talking right now, tune in, monitor, watch our website.
How realistic is is that of happening today, though, with the information that you're getting?
In terms of what is realistic, spot firing or warnings?
The Ember attacks coming over to the southern suburbs.
What I can say is the conditions are suggesting there will be spot fires, and there then is the potential for an Ember attack. I can't give you with precision if and when that will happen. What I can give you, the facts are, remain tuned and keep an eye on what's occurring.
Are you expecting the Auroral Valley blaze to link up with the Clearview blaze at some stage today?
We are expecting that a number of those fires will merge today, yes. I can't tell you when though.
And I understand there's been door knocking in the western suburbs. Are the western suburbs of Canberra at risk at all?
The door knocking in the western suburbs at this stage is a precautionary measure because of the northern flank of the fire is still active. We have a number of containment lines in place. However, if they are breached, the fire could continue up to the west of the ACT suburban borders, which is why we are door knocking today as a precautionary measure, just to remind our community how they can protect themselves and how to develop their bushfire survival plans, and also for us to check in on those vulnerable members of our community so that if in the event we had to evacuate, we are confident in those areas that we need to target in order to provide particular support to our vulnerable members in the community.
I know you spoke about this yesterday, but how challenging is it with crews not being able to access certain parts of the terrain?
It's very challenging. It's very frustrating. We have had limited access because of the terrain, which is why we are now focused on our containment lines. We are using a lot of aerial attack. Obviously, when the smoke comes in, that makes the aerial attack challenging, but every window of opportunity for us to put in large air tanker support with retardant, our small attack helicopters, and of course then creating the space for ground-based firefighting to occur. We're seizing every opportunity to do that. But I can reiterate, it's very frustrating for our firefighters. They just want to get in there and get at this fire, but of course safety is paramount.
And I know smoke has been hindering our ability to use aerial attacks. Is that what we're likely to see again today?
We could see potential for that with wind changes, and of course with smoke pretty much around the entirety of the ACT. Doesn't matter which way the wind is going to blow tonight in particular. If we have active fire on the southeast and across the eastern corridor of New South Wales, that could come into the ACT and we could see something not dissimilar to what happened post-Christmas. Of course, with fires to our west, and as they are enlivened, particularly the Adaminaby complex fires, we're keeping a very close eye on those. They could breach our borders to the south. We could see that smoke, which is why situational awareness is so important for the community, because this is dynamic, this is complex, this is challenging, and so our precautionary measures have been particularly targeted because time is something that we all see as precious in terms of not just firefighting opportunities, but also for evacuations. Where possible, we're giving early evacuations. I can tell the community right now, I will lean forward on warnings. I will lean forward on evacuations. I would rather apologise tomorrow or Monday for evacuating people rather than finding it, really, I don't want to put people's lives at risk. So I am not being a panic merchant by any stretch of the imagination, but I will lean forward if necessary because I want to protect the lives of every resident of the ACT.
This ESA media conference has now concluded. Thank you for watching.